Hello, little children. This is your friend, Velma Hagar. And I don't have any coffee today, but what the hey? Here's looking at you, kid, anyway. All right? Now, I want to talk to you today about I loved this. I just love this. Just because you've asked for something and it seemed that God did not hear you because you've been praying for the same thing for so long, I want to tell you this. Just because God's silent doesn't mean the answer is no. In fact, many, many, many times, more times than not, you do not see an immediate answer to prayer. Prayer can take years to come to fruition. It can take years. I've had prayers take 20, 25 years before, but they still come to pass. You know why? Because God's doing something behind the scenes that you don't know about. I mean, he's like, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. And look who I got today. Look who I've got today. Guido. It's my little Guido. Isn't he precious, you guys? Look at those ears. And look at those little black cherry eyes. Yes, he's got black cherry eyes. He's mama's boy. She love him. Okay, so prayers can take forever, but they still come to pass in due season. You don't know what God's doing behind the scenes. You don't know the preparation that goes into the answer to a prayer. So don't give up. And remember that we talked about last month or month before about the word fervent, where he says, the effectual fervent prayers of a righteous man avails much. And remember, I looked up the word fervent, and the word fervent means when you are really sincere about something. You just don't flippantly say, do this, Lord. And I mean, sometimes you do say flippant prayers. I say them all the time, and they happen. But if you really, really have a fervency towards something, a passion towards it, and you pray with fervency, God says the effectual fervent prayers of a righteous man avails much. So that fervency is important when you're praying, okay? So that's one of the things I want to add to this whole situation. Look at my Guido. He's sleeping up here with me, you guys. No, he's not. He took off like a greased pig. He took off. I love that boy. And I do have my new bird over there, my little Benji. I have Benji and Pippa. They don't like each other. Male and female in the same cage together, and every time they go past each other, they won't. They don't fight, but they don't do what I thought maybe they would do. So I'd have little babies. That's what I was hoping for. I'm still hoping for that. I'm not giving up. Now, fervent prayers, just because God doesn't answer right away does not mean he said no. Don't expect that. Don't accept it. Now, if you're praying about something that isn't godly, I mean, it doesn't have to be religious or super spiritual, but it does have to fit within God's perimeters, then you're going to get it if you wait. If you give up, you get nothing. He who wavers gets nothing. I wanted to tell you this story today. I think this is such a good story. I started out in business, as you know. I had no working capital. I had no husband. I had 3 children. I was a single mom, no child support, and I was struggling. I mean, I started a little business literally on a shoestring, and it was a shoe store, get it? And I mortgaged my house. I got a second on my house to get the money to get started to begin with. I got $15,000 against my house, a second trustee. And for years, I mean, absolute years, I felt like I was pushing money around and making it work. It was like I never really even knew if I was making it, because it just seemed like I was always borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. I was always in debt. I would get my shoes in. I could hardly make a payment to pay him. I was like constantly. And I had a gift at pushing money around. I really did. I had a real gift at it. And I'm going to tell you this. One of these days I'm going to share another story that I have, but this time I'm going to just do one. Some of my stories are really good, and I think they'll be helpful. So I'm pushing money around, and I'm not kidding you. After I'd been in business for 10 years, I said to myself, I don't know if I'm really making it or not. It seems like I'm just pushing money from here to there and making it work somehow, you know. So all these years, and I mean, I'm still struggling. And they say if you make it for 10 years, only 7% of the businesses in California make it for 10 years. So I made it for 10 years, but I was still struggling. So one day, just one day, I had gotten a new Mercedes, and I was in that Mercedes, and I had this diamond on my finger that I'd gotten really cheap somewhere. I bought it. I'll tell you that story again one day too. And I was headed up to Ironwood Country Club, which is where I'd always dreamed to live. And I finally had gotten a little 2-bedroom, 2-bath, small little condo up here, but I got here. And I even had a golf cart, which I always wanted a golf cart. And so I'm driving towards home that day. I'm in that car, and all of a sudden I go, oh my God, I made it. I made it. Oh my God, I really made it. And it was like, boing, you know, I wasn't just pushing money around. I had done it. And that revelation for me was so huge. And I had prayed for years and years and years for that little shoe store. And finally, that little shoe store had gotten to be a pretty good size shoe store, and even had got a men's shoe store next to it now that I owned. And I'm like, oh my God, I made it. One of the biggest things in my life. I mean, to feel the joy of knowing that you did it. And it took me about 15 years of praying for that shop. But it made it. And in the end, I ended up, you know, I started with nothing. I was down here, the banker telling me, you're never going to make it. You know, you can't make it. You know. And I made it. And I'm like, and I give God all the glory. So I want to tell you, don't think that just because God didn't answer right away that he said no. Okay? Hang in there. I want to share something special today. My son's book, Eric Solis. It's called The Filter Code. And I want you to order it on Amazon. The Filter Code by Eric Solis. You guys, it's only $15. And listen, I'm going to read a little bit just so you kind of know what it's about. The Filter Code is not just a book. It is an immersive experience that redefines personal empowerment. Redefines personal empowerment, pardon me. Through structured exercises and insightful guidance, you will gain clarity and develop strategies for living a purposeful life. The Filter Code uses customized AI algorithms to deliver a first-of-its-kind, personalized, interactive experience that hyperlinks you into transformational life applications. Get the book. You are going to love it. I'm going to tell you, look, it's not long, but boy, is it good. Okay? And again, it's called The Filter Code by Eric Solis on Amazon. I got another little author in my family. Don't you love it? All of us are authors. And while you're there, buy my books, Hidden Treasures in Dark Places and Hidden Treasures in Secret Places. Okay, you guys, that's it. So until next time, this is your friend, Velma Hagar, bidding you a blessed day and reminding you, don't accept silence as a no from God, all right? Keep persisting.